Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today's project is the second in my Christmas card and Christmas series, and we're using the wonderful Winter Woods again, and we're going to use this lovely tree, and we are going to be using the framelits which coordinate together, and you have a 10% saving if you buy both of them, so that's really good. And we are using the outline of the tree, which we are going to punch out in Tranquil Tide, so I've done that one already. And we are then going to do the inside of the tree, which again I've done already, in Whisper White. So those are the two pieces that we want from this set, and we are going to use a set that has been around for a little while, and something that I love to use because it gives that really sort of fun Christmas. And this is the Cookie Cutter Christmas. Now, the Cookie Cutter Christmas has your Father Christmas, your gingerbread men, Eskimos, a lovely reindeer, a beautiful teddy bear, and some lovely sentiments. And this comes, you can buy it with a coordinating punch. Now, what I'm going to be using from this is the little bow. So the bow on there, and then we are going to cut that out. The colours we're using are Cherry Cobbler and Tranquil Tide because they go beautifully together. And some beautiful DSP, which is from the Joyous Noel Speciality Designer Series paper. And this, as you can see, has some gorgeous copper foiling on. It's absolutely lovely, and I really recommend getting this designer series paper because it is absolutely beautiful and it's nice and thick too. So let's get started. We are going to take the tree, which is the Tranquil Tide and the Whisper White, and we are going to just lift up the little branches, and you can just literally sort of fold them up a bit. So I probably should have started at the top and worked down, shouldn't I, because I'm running my fingers over. Let's do it this way around. So just lift them up just a little bit. You don't need to do it too much, but we just want to be able to sponge around it. So we're going to take a sponge dauber and the Tranquil Tide, and we are just going to sponge round the outside of the tree. Again, spend a little bit more time than I do. I always rush things for the videos, so I'm not taking up too much of your time. But again, it doesn't have to be overly precise because what you want is for it to just have that sort of little frosted look. So when we get onto these little pieces that are stuck up, literally if you just put your finger underneath it and just lift it up just a tad, we just want a little bit of definition on them. So just working round each one of them, little tiny bit on each one, because then it just gives the look of snow, being white Whisper White cardstock, but also the little bit of definition of the Tranquil Tide to sort of tie it in together. Just one on there and this little top one like that. Okay, so now we are going to take the Cherry Cobbler, and we are going to take this little bow here, and we're going to stamp it out in the Cherry Cobbler. So just a tiny little scrap, and I've already mounted it. So we are going to just take this. Now you can do all of this in the Merry Merlot, But as I said to you the other day, I have an order coming, so I haven't got the Merry Merlot at the moment, but the cherry cobbler does tone in quite nicely. So we are then going to take the punch, and if you cut out a tiny scrap, you can then feed the punch in this way, line it up as best you can, which is always a struggle on camera, and then just gently press it out. And as I say, follow it down. So you need, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, something like that. We'll have a look as we go. But we're just going to, let me just take out 3 from here. I have done a few beforehand to save a bit of time, but these bows are absolutely beautiful. And I always think at Christmas time, decorating the tree is one of the joys, and trying to decide what colours you're going to do this year. So we are going to put this, and I am literally just going to run some glue round. Let me see if I've got my, no, my glue's on the other table. Wait a second, it's always sitting where it shouldn't be. Here we go. So let's take our liquid purpose glue, or Tombow, or wet glue, or whatever, and we're just going to run a little bit just around the edges. We don't want to do it over the cutout pieces because we still want those to pop out once we put it down. So we're just doing it round the edges. We hold on to it carefully, run it round, and then we are going to put it onto our Tranquil Tide base. Now the easiest way to do this is to sort of line up the top piece and then put it down, and obviously because we're doing it with multi-purpose glue, it does give us a second of wiggle room. So once it's down, you can just sort of fiddle around with it a little bit so you get it where you want it, and then just stick it down like that. And now we can just sort of lift up those little pieces a little bit. As I say, some of them are not going to be sticking up, but you can have just a few little pieces stuck up like that, which gives a lovely bit of dimension on it. So I should probably have to do it again at the end. Now we are going to take these lovely little bows, and I'm not putting them up with dimensionals because I think it will give too much height for this. All I'm going to do is to put a tiny little bit of glue just in the centre, and then we're going to position the first one right at the top of the tree like this. And then it's a matter of just positioning them down as you want them. So I always sort of lay things out first, and I think I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe one down in the centre there, 5. I think 5 will work nicely on this. Let me just have a look. Maybe one out on that side. No, I think 5 is probably about right. So again, put as many or as few as you want on there. But I just thought it would make just a really beautiful, and you want to put these so that they are not going in exactly the same direction, so as if they were sort of put on the tree. So just sort of turn them one way and the other. I think I'm going to have that one just about there, and as I say, some of them will go over the branches, some of them will sort of tuck underneath, and I'm just literally putting the glue in the centre because I want them to come out just a little bit. We'll have that one there, and we'll have this one just in the centre down there. I love the way that you can use old stamp sets, newer stamp sets, and everything has, you can use so many different things, which is really rather nice. So now we're just going to zhuzh up just a couple of these little ones that aren't on there to give a bit of dimension. And then we are going to add a few of the metallic sequins, and the metallic sequins have the beautiful copper in there. So we're just going to take a little bit of glue and just put it where you think you might want a couple of the sequins. So I'm going to start off with, I think I've done about 4 or 5 there. And I'm taking the Take Your Pick tool, which is an absolute favourite of mine because it has this lovely little putty end, and it means that you can pick up your sequins quite well. I'm doing larger ones at the bottom and smaller ones at the top. So let's just pop that little one down. I think that's probably a medium one. And we'll tuck him up on the top there, and that's a bigger one. I'll put a bigger one down in on that corner, and that's is that a middling one? I use my sequins quite a lot, and I always tend to get a little bit of glue stuck on them because I don't waste them. So if you get 1 or 2 that fall off and get a little bit of glue stuck to them, I still put them back in the pot. There's one little one down there. What's that one? Got a bit of dimensional stuck to the bottom of that one. Oh, that's a nice little one. Whoops. So it's me dropping it back in there. Let's find another one. That one will do. And we'll pop him down on there. Okay, I do want to have one more just up on this side to just balance it up a little bit. So just a tiny little bob of glue on here like that, and we'll take whatever comes, I think. So says me, I want to get a middling sized one. Let me have a little look in here. This is a new one. I've gone through a whole pack of these since they first came out. Is that the right way up? Yes, it is. Because they are absolutely brilliant for just putting just a little touch on your card. So let's pop that one down. It doesn't want to stick, that one. It's my fault. Always on camera you end up being completely cack-handed, but just wanted to put this. Are we going to stick on there or not? Take this end and see if I can just hold it down just for a second. There we go. Okay, so let's pop my lid on here, and you can now see that you have got a really pretty tree, which is, let's take it up, a really pretty tree which has the lovely bows on there, and we're now going to put it onto our card base. So I have got a standard card, and we're going to put the beautiful piece of Joyous Noel Speciality Designer Series paper, and it really is special. I absolutely love elegant looking paper. And this really is elegant. Both sides are absolutely beautiful, but I love the copper foiled details on this. So let's pop this down in the centre. I'm putting it on white cardstock. You could put it on Cherry Cobbler, Merry Merlot, or even pick up this, I think it's probably Sahara Sand, or it could be Crumb Cake. But I actually quite like things that are white. Now, I was going to do, that was a very smart thing to do, wasn't it? I've stuck this down first, and I should have put my ribbon on. So let's have a look. We might just have to do it as, can I just get this, ease it off. Now I'm going to try something here because I haven't done this on this. Somebody turned around and said that if you use the spatula from the Take Your Pick tool, you can lift up your edges very carefully. So let's see if this works. I'm just going to run it along the bottom. Oh, look at this. Now that's worth knowing. So I'm just taking it along the bottom here because I just want to lift up that bottom piece where I inadvertently stuck it down before I was ready. So if you do what I did, which is doing things in a rush, you can just take this and ease it through. Now I only want it to run on the bottom. Is that enough? Nope. Let's just ease it up the side a little bit. It's the first time I've done this, so it just shows that it does work. And what I have to be careful of is that as I'm pulling it up, that I don't stick it down again. So let's just ease that up through here. Ease that up through there. And this, and I think I should just have enough now to be able to just tuck it in underneath. Well, this is very good actually. I'm very pleased with that. So let's just put this ribbon down through on the bottom on here, and we just want to tuck it in underneath. I think it's going to come too low down, so it's always good when you're doing things live, isn't it? So let's just tuck that up here just a little bit more. Ease this up. That's better. Now we'll have to see how well it sticks down, but it does mean that you can take it up a bit. So I just want to take this. Of course it's going to be at an angle now, but let's take this to there, and we just want to tuck that in underneath. So let's tuck that in on that side. This is how not to do a card, but it does just show you that you can make mistakes sometimes and find ways of rectifying them. So look at that. Okay, is that level? That's going to be all right, isn't it? Let's put that up to there. I need to just take this one in there, tuck it in. I might have to stick a glue dot underneath. And let's put this, is that coming down? This is where you need to fast forward this, because it's going to take a little bit of fiddling about here, because I completely cocked up where I wanted my ribbon to go. But best way to do this, let's add a little bit of glue underneath on here, and let's do this properly. So we're going to take a little bit of glue on here, a little bit of glue on there. That's sticking on nicely on there now. So let's tuck that piece on here. If you hadn't already stuck it down like I had, it's very easy. You just tuck your ribbon in, put it through underneath, and then you've got your ribbon coming down where you want it. So let's stick this back down on here properly. There we go. Okay, so now we have our ribbon, which is what I wanted. It's probably not completely straight, and I'm going to have to put a glue dot underneath because, as I say, I didn't get it as it should do. But as I say, this is what happens with crafting. We sometimes make mistakes, but quite often we can rectify them. So let's just take a tiny little glue dot here, pop that one up, and we're going to just pop it in the centre here to just hold things down like that. That's better. Okay, so tuck that edge in. Say it's not really lying completely straight, but it'll do for what we're doing. Now I've taken the sentiment from which set was this from? Season's Greetings from Feathers and Frost, because I absolutely love that one, and it will fit perfectly down on here. And I am going to put that down. Do I want it down with dimensionals? No, I don't. I'm going to just glue it straight onto there because I don't want too much bulk on this, because it's going to be mailed. So let's just put some Tombow across here. There we go. And we'll put that down in the centre. So you've just got a little bit of your ribbon coming through on either side. And you've got the cherry cobbler, which is going to match your tree. And then we are just going to put some dimensionals onto the back of the tree. I'm using the minis. If you need to stock up on dimensionals at the moment, if you go across to my website, which is, or my blog, the details will be below in the description box, and go across to the shop, they have got a bit of a sale on lots of things, including the dimensionals. Not going to be available for very long, so if you want some with a little bit of a discount, get across there pretty smartish, and take advantage. I always try and stock up with dimensionals whenever they do a little bit of a sale on, because it's something that you need all the time. Whatever you're doing, there will always be time for dimensionals, and as I say, these minis are absolutely brilliant. So if you want to save a few pennies, then just concentrating while I get this in the center. There we go. So attach that down, and then, as I say, you can just lift up your little branches to just give a little bit of height. Little one underneath there. Lift him up. And as I say, the take your pick tool is absolutely perfect for all sorts of things. I use it instead of my fingers quite often because I can be a little bit cat-handed sometimes. So just take that one up a bit. Okay, so here we have a rather pretty tree decorated with the bow from the Cookie Cutter Christmas, coordinating the cherry cobbler and the tranquil tide with those little copper elements. So I think a very pretty Christmas card. Thank you so much for watching me, and I do look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye.